Hello and welcome to Art Show. I'm Craig Stover, and today I have with me Candace Karch. Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good.
Thanks for
Very
having me
well, I should
on.
say. I want to share some images of yours right away so we
Okay,
can
let's just get right into this.
start this process.
Great. Ooh,
Right. So I went through your multiple websites, and I wanted to start with this piece because this is a newer one, correct?
yes. That was
Okay.
done during COVID.
Right. So there are several pieces of these sort of mesh masks that you've done, but there's also other pieces of clothing. This one in particular, I really enjoyed. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
So this is when there were supplements to the masks. This was one of the lab coats or one of the coats that the surgeons would wear or the tech people would wear, and they'd cover themselves up. So basically, my idea with that series was, we're not really protected. So
Hmm.
I made everything transparent. Then I did cyanotypes with them and then photographed them and left them floating in the air. Now that piece is really tiny. It's
Mm.
probably about this big.
Okay.
So I had a lovely little seamstress help me because I can't sew to save my life. I basically safety pin things when I have to make them tighter or looser or whatever.
So
Um,
you made a cyanotype and then took a photograph of the cyanotype.
so I had this made first. I told her what I wanted.
Okay.
Did a little design of it. I sent her a little image on from the internet. Said this is what I want. I think I had the other one was aside from the masks was the gloves.
Hmm.
Um, because I couldn't do an entire series on that. Um, and I sent it to her. She made me a little Barbie doll outfit, sent
Hmm.
it back, and I made a cyanotype out of it, and then photographed it and had these prints made.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, I really wanted to show this one. This was sort of a late entry because I went through your website and this is sort of a separate site that you have. But I
yeah.
really wanted to show this because I love when artists have this big breadth of different types of work that they do. And this I just had to add this because I thought it's very whimsical to me. I was drawn to it. I couldn't say anything else. But
Well,
of course, I think a lot of people know you from
yes, for Miss
this.
Ulmer.
Yes, Miss Ulmer. So this is a wonderful series. And how long did you do this? Because there were lots of different wonderful photographs of her.
So this is like my crown jewel and the thorn in my side because I like to say I'm more than just Ms. Ulmer.
Of course.
Uh, because this is the series that got a lot of recognition. And the stupid thing that I didn't do was I didn't contact Apple because I shot most of it on my phone.
Oh,
I didn't want to intimidate her with a large camera because she never knew that I was taking a photograph of her and I wanted her to be natural. Obviously, this one is not natural. This one is posed. And I think
right,
I
right.
did shoot this
So
with.
I do have another one, but I before we move on, I wanted to ask you about what kind of equipment do you normally shoot on? Do you always shoot on phone now, or do you have a series of cameras?
No. So, you mentioned earlier that I have a lot of websites. Yes, I do. I don't know how to contain everything on one site because I like to do a lot of things. And
Okay.
at first I thought it was a curse, but now I think it's a gift
Uh-huh.
because, you just can't be, I don't know, good at one thing. And so there are periods in my life where I forget how to use a camera. So I'm like, let me pull out my plastic camera or let me do a little pinhole or let me pick this camera up and just play with it again. And then I get to sort of relearn how to use something sort of in that way that you're naive and you're like, oh, that's a great accident. Or
Right.
that's how I used to remember how to do that. So I'm kind of stuck on playing with that idea because I'm not a great technical photographer. I will say that 100 times. but I know how to make an image. So that's
Yeah, that's what
my
I
main.
liked about your work. And I always, when I teach, I always talk about beginner's luck, like not knowing the rules, so you sort of break them all. And so
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah.
see that with, forgetting how to use a camera means you get to relearn it, re-break those
Well,
rules,
and
I
it
guess.
it it also it also makes you, it allows you to go into other things that you didn't know that you could do.
Yeah.
So like I said, I like to say that I'm a photo-based artist because
Hmm.
it always ends with a photo for me because
I
I'll like do something and then I do love this one. I will do something and then I'll end up, the finished product is always a photograph of it for a print
well,
because
I'm sorry. I
oh,
liked the fact that you have all these varying different types of works. And I just spoke with an artist last week who he's an older gentleman, and he felt that the years of galleries pushing artists to do the same thing over and over, he says he feels that that's been done, like it's gone now, and like artists are a lot more freed up. I want to say I'm kind of seeing that in a lot of work,
I
and I
agree
think
with that.
yeah, that's what I was drawn to your work too. So I'm going to encourage people to go to this website to
Which
see this
one is
whole series.
this? Which is this, the I can't stop chasing you.com?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Yeah. This one is all photography.
Hmm.
I had to have something that, said, when I say I'm a photographer, I usually send you to I can't stop chasing you.com.
Hmm.
So I don't know who I'm chasing, but I'm obviously chasing something. And I just thought that was kind of catchy. It
Okay.
actually should be like, I'm a schizophrenic.com because I have so many websites out there that I can't
Right.
figure out, what I want to represent me.
Well, I'm a web guy, so you and I can talk, and
Oh, good.
I can
Please
give you a
help me.
strategy.
Help
Yes,
me.
yes. So again, wonderful photograph, just love it. So when I saw these, one of my real question about these is, I'm curious, do you do just sort of one-offs with these, or do you edition them?
Um, you know, Are additions bullshit? Because I'm not
Of course.
sure like what the point is to that. I can say I have additions, but then I'm not repped by a gallery. So I don't have anybody telling me what I can do.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I am looking for somebody to represent me so I can, make money off of the person that I am and the
Mhm.
work that I do. But, that's not happening right now. So I'm happy to give you a few of these prints if you'd like, Craig. So
You're
not a
very
big deal,
kind.
and I will sign them all like artist proof,
There
and
you
they
go.
will be worth more money.
Well, speaking of prints, sorry,
That's okay. Oh,
I sort of zoomed through.
it's actually
Um,
nice to see the work because I don't see my work. I don't like flip through it.
okay. Well,
So
I
yeah,
had a fun time flipping through it. And
excellent.
one of the things that I really enjoy are images with stories in them. And this has to have a story.
Oh yeah, this is so I traveled after college. I hitchhiked through Europe for two
Right.
years.
Hmm.
And this is my friend Marianne that I met in London, and we went to Sicily, which is where my family is from. And I was the first cousin from
Hmm.
America to visit them. And they, one of the cousins said that they had a house in
Right.
Syracuse. And we went there, and it was the sewage lines were backed up, the sinks didn't work. Uh, we were like the only person on this island. It was pretty scary.
Hmm.
And every day we would sort of take a little hike around the neighborhood. And this was the end of our block.
Hmm.
And I asked Marianne to go lie in this pool. And I went and stood at the top of this mountain, or whatever this mountain that you want to call it. And I just looked out and I thought, I was probably like 21, and I was having this profound moment, as you do as a 21-year-old, and I still actually think it's kind of a profound moment now. I stood at the top of that scene and I said, if I could pick a time to die, I could do it right now because this is a fucking good photograph.
It
So
really is.
And
Do you
it's
title your works?
no,
Good. All right. Because I was hoping that this was not titled Time to Die.
no, time that would be great, but then that would be corny also. So
Right. Yeah.
you'll be telling the story. You'll just have to talk to me about every photograph. It'll take forever, but
Yeah.
I know we only have 45 minutes, so we're
No,
good.
it does not need a title. I think it's
Okay.
just it's a
Well,
wonderful photograph. And I would when you print this out, uh
do I have
when
this
you print
edition? No.
no, how what size do you like to print at?
So I either like really small or gigantic. Like I would like somebody to give me a show where I can print everything huge
Mhm,
because that's how I like to see work.
mhm,
Or, I like to be overwhelmed or like really in there.
mhm, mhm.
So I bet that doesn't answer your question because that is not printed gigantic or tiny. That was when I still had my dark room and that's on an 11 by 14 paper.
Okay. But you could, I mean, you still have the negative, so you could print it
Oh
out
yeah.
larger.
Yeah. In
Right,
fact,
yeah.
everything's getting scanned right now.
Hmm.
With somebody, they're going to scan everything. So
Good. So I wanted to talk to you about this picture because I love the composition. The geometry in this picture is really what kind of caught my eye. And I'm
yeah, she's
just
a little cockeyed.
it is it?
Well, she's not
Oh,
quite.
I see. I see
Yeah,
what you mean.
it's
But
not like
that's
this
the
isn't a relaxing pose for somebody.
yeah,
No one actually bathes like that.
no. I'm kind of curious though about when when you were shooting this, like did you know was this like one of 100 poses or did you kind of
No,
have an
this
idea?
was. I lived in San Francisco. I lived in Vallejo in an old church called the House of God, which many churches are called that. My sister came out to visit me. This is my sister.
Hmm,
Um, so we did one pose, and that
hmm,
was it.
hmm.
Because at the time, I would have cheap attacks over film because film was so
Oh
expensive,
yeah.
and I was
Hmm.
younger, and
Yeah.
I was like, where am I going to get money for film? So I was always pretty chintzy with my
Hmm.
exposure, which
I
is
grew
good.
up in the 70s. I got it. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, I wasn't shooting like 10 rolls of film to get one good image like I would do now because I'm like a little rusty, I think
Right.
sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Or I have some self-doubt that creeps in because everybody shoots with digital. So it's like bam, 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 bam. And then you have too many choices. So in a
Right.
way, I'm glad I sort of already did the editing at the time. And now I can just say, that's that's a winner. That's going in the book.
Well, I've got one last picture that I really wanted to share with the audience. This was a stunner for me because again, I'm always really interested in images that have sort of storylines, and this has it in spades. This also sounds like there's a story behind this.
I really appreciate all your comments. I haven't had a good crit in a really long time, so thank you. This, I lived in Prague briefly,
Okay.
and this again was a one-off. I happened to be walking by this woman with this incredible posture, the woman to the right,
Mhm.
guessing her granddaughter or a caretaker, and this sweet little old lady. And yeah, that was it. I just clicked it. I got lucky. I got
Yeah.
real for that image.
When you say you get lucky with photographs, and I understand that, I mean, I talk to a lot of photographers. How good is your luck? Is it like one a month that you really score? Is it more or less than that?
I think that sometimes it's luck, but also a lot of the times it's meant to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I am just a medium in which the work comes out of,
Hmm.
and there is a synchronicity that happens when I'm somewhere and I know there's a good shot. I mean, some people just can, it's something that I don't want this. I hate if this sounds pretentious because I don't mean to be pretentious and I'm not pretentious, but like you either got good composition or you don't.
Hmm. Hmm.
But when I say I'm rusty, it's because I haven't really been taking a lot of pictures. I've been doing other kinds of work.
Hmm.
So when it comes to photography, that particular camera, I knew how to use that. I used
Mm.
it all through college. I had, I used it regularly up until about, I don't know, does 20 years sound like a long time ago? I mean, it is, but
Right.
like,
Well, was
where did it go?
photography part of your childhood?
Yes, because I used to be given, we used to get those old Kodak brownies, and like I remember that commercial with Allie McGraw where she had like this hot shot camera, she's riding on a bike.
Yeah.
I had that camera. So
Okay. All right.
that camera, and I would go around and take pictures all the time. I mean, my parents were, they were artists, always encouraging us to do things creatively, never to think like, I'm going to say a normal person, whatever
Mm,
that means.
mm,
But, to think outside the box. I hate that saying, but I can't
mhm.
do anything else because
I know what you mean.
I'm under pressure.
Right.
Um, but so basically, yeah, I mean, I always loved photographs. I was also obsessed with typing, but that's another
Okay.
story. I wanted
At
how did I
what
do
point
it?
at what point did you realize that you were going to be an artist? I mean, was it always known, or did you have
Oh
to make a
yeah, no,
decision?
since a little kid,
Okay.
and I didn't know that actually meant bartending. So,
Right.
which is actually what that meant.
Right.
Waiting
Exactly.
tables. I had no idea because the schools at that point weren't preparing you to go out and actually here you go. We just took all your money. Go ahead,
Right. Yeah.
get that
They're
little
still
drink
not.
with a handkerchief on the back of it. Fill that with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and
Right.
go down the street. So,
So with a lot of your photographs, especially because you do a lot of portraits of stuff, obviously you must meet some really interesting people. Uh, Aside from Miss Ulmer, is that her name?
Bomber, yes,
Yeah.
Maria.
Aside from her, is there anybody that you would like to go back and photograph again?
Yeah, actually, I did. So in college, I did a series of trans people, drag, um, a group of cross dressers,
Hmm?
and I have often thought that I would love to track them all down
Hmm.
and see if I could, see where they're at now. If I know some of them have passed away, and just see what everybody's up to and how their lives went.
That makes sense to me. I would
Yeah,
love to see that too. The sort of before and
yeah,
afters kind of.
yeah.
So,
Other than that, I think, you know, there's so many cool and interesting people out in the world, especially now, because you can be
yeah,
whoever you want to be. So, I'm always just like,
you're always open to it.
I'm
So
open to everything.
your work has when I look at it as a total, I really see variations in terms of how you're shooting, black and white and color, the people. The only one thing that seems to be a consistency is my guess is about 9% of your photographs have cats in
Oh,
them.
did
Maybe
you do
eight,
any
maybe nine.
research? Did you do any
Yes,
research?
I did do some research.
Okay. Because I don't know how this happened, but I have a nonprofit cat rescue.
Okay.
So I don't know how it happened, but
You just woke up one day and there it
I woke
was.
up one day and I had, cat hair all over me, and I was in a big moo and hair coat and rollers in my hair.
Uh-huh.
But I just kind of don't know how that happened. But
Crazy cat.
yes, I mean, I think the future is feline.
Hmm.
I do believe that uh, cats pick and choose you, and
Hmm.
if your cat doesn't like one of your friends, you probably should not be friends with them. Pretty sure
Well,
that.
there were some excellent cat portraits, but I'll direct people to your Instagram
Oh yeah, go
to
ahead.
go see that. So so one of the questions I had about the work, we were talking about storyline, and I'm kind of curious, like the narrative in your work seems paramount. Has it always been that way?
See, I think I have a theme. I don't know. I'm always trying to tell a story, but I'm never quite sure what that is because, at some point I thought, well, do I tell the viewer what it is, or do I let it unfold? Because I do like to hear what other people think about my work because
Mhm.
it's fun. Also, like it's insightful, and I get to hear things that somebody else saw, especially
Mhm.
when they're like really into it. I'm like, listen, I didn't think that much about that photo, but thank you. I think I'm going
Right.
to include that in the book. So,
Uh-huh.
thank you. So I'm not sure if I ever. So so as I'm getting all my negative scanned right now, it's because I've been working on this like sort of evolution of my work, the history of it, because you start out with this and then you see how it rolls into this and then it rolls into that. Well, somewhere along the line for me, it just went like this, like
Okay.
shooting all over the place. So
Uh-huh.
I kind of, do I need to really reel that in, or should I just go with it?
Right.
Because, as Bruce Lee says, I am water.
Right.
So, or go with the flow. So I'm just trying
Nice quote.
to go with what's
Yeah.
happening intuitively and just have it end up somewhere without any expectation. And if there is a narrative, I need to figure that out real
Mm-hmm.
soon.
Well, your
So
narrative does change over time. It
that's
your your answer makes me think of this one question, and it's a question that I've asked other artists too. I'm going to be curious what your answer is. Do you consider your works to be autobiographical, or do you try to think of them as separate from yourself?
no, they are. They are because I always think about the moment that I'm having with this person because I do shoot a lot of portraits or street portraits. I'm having a moment with this person. We are in sync. I see you. I'm of the thought that, we're a soul having a human experience. And I am literally connecting with this person at that time,
Mm,
at not only the time on the clock, the moment in history, and here we are. And
hmm hmm
everybody has something to offer me, and I have something to offer everyone. So we're just reflections off of each other. So yes, like if you want to know me, look at the lady with the one tooth and the curly hair with the comb in it. That's me. That
That's
day at that moment.
that's a great answer.
I love her.
I really love it. So we have time for just two more questions.
Okay.
Time zips by. Um,
Oh, it
I am
did.
curious. You had mentioned other works. Have you ever experimented with other mediums, sculpture, painting, drawing, dance, poetry, anything like that?
Okay, I dance all the time. I'm constantly moving. I'm dancing for my animals. I just got it like it's like in me. I just got to move the whole
Right.
time. I didn't say I was a good dancer.
Uh-huh.
After watching Taylor Swift's tour, I'm pretty sure that I could be one of her backup dancers because she has all kinds of
Okay.
people there. So I'm
You
pretty
phone
sure
me as soon as you
I
get
got
that
the move.
call to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will. I will. You guys can go on tour with me. My kids.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I like to like draw, dabble, see if I can like do anything and not judge myself like I judged myself before where I thought, "Oh, I don't know how to paint. I can't do this. I can't do that." Well, the truth is, we're all capable of do anything. So,
hmm
I'm really excited that like I can pick up a pencil and just go, that's pretty good actually. I didn't think
hmm
that I had that."
hmm
Yeah, I mean, I used to always say that I did installation work when I actually had never done installation work. And then I started doing it because
Okay.
that's what I wanted to do.
Uh,
And I did it. So I got to check that off my list. I'm
uh,
still up for doing more installation work in case anybody's
okay.
watching.
All
Uh,
right. I'd
but
love to see that.
yeah, I mean, I like to do everything. You can't if you're creative at one thing, you're creative at a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I find that's true too.
yeah.
So time for my final question.
Okay.
What does making art do for you?
Oh, okay. What's the chakra that's in your stomach? Okay, it makes me feel like I'm falling in love every time I make a new piece of work where I get really excited about something that I'm making. I get like shaky and nervous. And I just love the feeling. And I didn't realize, because I didn't really learn about the chakras until, recently. I knew about them, but I didn't know what they were for. And I realized that anytime I do my work, it activates this one chakra. And I thought that I always go back to that. And if you have to question what you're meant to do, or what you feel like you're here to put out, that I know is that I feel like I'm meant to make work, and I'm makes me feel like, literally, it makes me feel good.
That's
So, and it
wonderful.
makes me feel
That,
loved.
that's a
So
great
that's
answer.
it.
Well, Candace, I can't thank you enough for coming by and talking with me today.
I'm
Really
so excited.
appreciate it.
We
So
can't have
yay.
like part two, extend this like an extra
Yeah, we
hour.
can do that.
I'm having
We'll
so much
work something.
fun.
And I also want to thank everybody else who tuned in to watch today. We really appreciate your support. So please give us a like and a share. And if you have comments, please put them in the comments section. If I can't answer them myself, I'll pass them along. So again, thank you for watching. And again, thank you for taking the time to talk
Oh
with me
my God,
today.
thank you. Mwah.
Take care, everyone.